Good morning, Jessica here from Jaywalker Dog and Pet Intel, and today I would like you to consider what types of management you're using in your home. Are you doing enough to keep your dog from practicing inappropriate and undesirable behavior? Management is a reoccurring theme that we see come up time and time again because we do deal with a lot of behavior problems, and behavior problems are really either just symptoms or something bigger happening, or really just appropriate behaviors that are misplaced. To give you an example, chewing on the furniture is an inappropriate behavior, but chewing is not an inappropriate behavior. So really the problem is the dog is not chewing on the appropriate things. We're going to focus a little bit more on management today, but I also want to emphasize that you should be considering whether or not you have provided your dog appropriate outlets or for their innate behaviors, for those behaviors that are just dog behaviors. Every dog is going to do them. We need to provide them with appropriate outlets for those behaviors. So keep that in your mind and consider that as well. Every ethical and humane behavior and training expert will tell you that one of the most important things when you're dealing with problematic behaviors or just raising a dog in general is to make sure that they don't have opportunities to continue to rehearse behavior that is undesirable to the human. A well-rehearsed behavior becomes stronger, and usually when the dog is engaging in this activity, it is also reinforcing to them in some capacity, whether it's self-reinforcing just by the release or the outlet, or it yields some sort of outcome that they are looking for. There are some really simple forms of management, like for instance, if you have a dog that is window barking all the time and is being reinforced because every time they bark out the window the thing goes away and they feel like a hero, you could close the curtains. You could put up some sort of sticker on the window so that it does blur the background and blurs the image so they can't see what's going on. So there's all sorts of ways that you can implement management in that realm by just removing visual or auditory access to things. But what I really want to emphasize, and I continue to emphasize this in numerous talks, it keeps coming up, is confinement. Confinement is essential. Teaching your dog to be okay to be alone and teaching your dog to be confined is really important. So there are a number of ways you can do that. You can use a tether. Tether is basically just attaching the leash from the dog to something that is sturdy. So an easy way to do this is to take the handle of a leash and to put it on the inside of a door and then to close the door, either having the leash coming out the side or underneath the door. And a tether really should just be as long as the dog's body. It gives them sort of the similar amount of space as they would have in a crate. Sit down, stand up, turn around, that's about it. They should always have a comfortable place to lie down and a bone to chew. Next, you guessed it, we're going to talk about crating, and crating is a big topic, and to be honest, it seems to be a little bit controversial. I'm not really sure why, but crating is really good way. Teaching your dog to be crated is a really good way to ensure that they are safe and a really good way to ensure that they are well managed. So that's a great place, again, to give them a comfortable place to lie down and a bone to chew. I like to think of that as like the bed, and for puppies we use a X pen, which is like the bedroom. So we have the X pen, which is the bedroom, and the crate, which is the bed. So if your dog is tired and needs to sleep and just have an independent chew, the crate is a good option. The X pen is a good option if your dog needs to be able to move around and isn't quite tired yet, and is going to have some activities to do in there, and you want to make sure that they have a comfortable place to lie, some toys to play with, water to drink. For puppies, maybe a pee pad if you're doing pee pad training. If you're going to be gone for long periods of time, that's really essential. Lastly, we have baby gates, and I really encourage people to put up baby gates in different parts of their home. Maybe they're somewhat unnecessary at first, but practice is important. So if you're moving through space and your dog is not able to follow you from room to room, if you want to quickly answer the door to get the pizza and you don't want your dog following you to the door and potentially having to greet that person inappropriately or go out into the street, keeping a gate in the front foyer so that they can't access the front door is a great way to use management. So management is essential. Please consider how much management you're using, and if your dog is continuing to do inappropriate things or things you do not like, think to yourself, like, why do they have the opportunity to do this? You are allowing them the opportunity to practice the behavior.